Hey, hello everybody. I want to give you a little overview of my homemade hay grapple. I've got two hay grapples. One of them I bought when I bought my first accumulator. And it works good for picking up hay out of the field because the accumulator will put hay out and 10 bales of hay out. But there's a little bit of space in between the bales and you want them stacked up better on the trailer and in the barn and everything else. So my one for picking up out of the field is rigid and it's got a crowd bar down here on one side, and I'll show you guys that in another video. But what we're going to focus on today is this one here. This one here I use for taking off the wagons. Basically after they've already been crowded up. Every other time other than the first time, this is a grapple that'll get used. Taking it off the trailer, putting it in the barn, taking it out of the barn, putting it on the customer's trailer. There's a few features on there that are different. Most notably, it's built on basically a gooseneck frame. The other one's mounted rigid to the mount plate. This here part is, so it won't turn. And where that's good is when I'm working up over my head, I can stack 10 high with this little skid steer. And in the barn, I'm working up over my head. I can't tell if I've got pressure here or pressure here. I can't tell that I'm laying flat on the stack good. It's hard to tell. Well, with this being pivoted, I could just put the weight down on it and it's going to find that stack no matter where it's at this way. So that works real well for that. It makes that so much better. The pivoting part of it. Now, I built this from scratch, but I made a few mistakes in it along the way too. Some of them I've cut apart and fixed as that bad, and some of them I'll just live with. A normal pad of hay measures out to be 6 foot wide and 8 foot long. 8 foot long this way, 6 foot wide this way. Well, I built this grapple 6 foot long and 8 foot wide, and it doesn't need to be that wide because you're not picking up the bales plumb to the outside. And that means all this stuff here was at the edge of my hay, guys. So if you want to build one of these, build a little bit narrower and just, you gotta have just enough room, hell kicks. You gotta have just enough room so these here grabs will hook in between the first and second, in between your two strings, so they don't have to go all the way out. So save yourself that. Also front to back, I could have brought this in another 4 or 6 inches here, see, and not made it 8 foot long. I've not worried about redoing that. And where that comes into effect, sometimes you gotta grab a bale, and if the bale's plumb out here to the end, and you're stacking on a trailer, you may be pushing here. Well, your grapple may hit before you've got them snugged up where you want them. I've overcame that. Just how I operated, I've overcame that. The other thing, my 10 bale stack is 4 wide here. It's got 4 bales here, 4 bales here, and then 2 bales end to end here. And depends on which way I pick them up. See, I rotate them because them are tie bales. So I'll pick them up from an opposite end each time. I put three hooks on each end. That helps that, grab that. No matter which way I got the tie stack, I like having 3 hooks on the tie end. Don't need them in the middle, but on each end, depends on which end your tie's on. 3 hooks really help a lot. Now, those are just mounted on round stock. I got a little washer welded on the end. It's just cobbled up out of whatever I had. Now, those are just on solid round stock. And then there's a piece of 1 inch by, I don't know, was it 1/2 inch channel iron? And I welded on there so these hooks would have a flat place to purchase so they wouldn't rotate. And I just took off a little bit over 1 inch ID pipe, cut off sections of that, drilled and tapped them for grease zerks so they could spin there. And then these hooks, the hooks on my other one, they all hook the same way. All 5 rows of them hook towards the back, but there's a backstop on it, so it pulls them all in. Now this one here, seeing as how there's no backstop, those two hooks curl this way and these three hooks curl this way, so it crowds them together and does a real good job of picking up. So right here's the middle. Those two goes towards each other. So basically this cylinder floats in here. Now there's stops to keep this from coming too far and getting it under center. Got gnats around here. But that cylinder basically floats. It may set this whole set. It may set these three and then set those two, or set them all at once, or set those two and these through three. It doesn't matter. Just suffice it to say it floats, so it may dig this and here in before it has enough pressure to dig that one in. But you'll also notice I got flat iron across here, and it doesn't have to be that good a flat iron. I mean, it's okay. It's, what is it, 2.5 inch, 3 inch by, I'd say 3/16, just whatever cheap stuff I could find. And what that's for is when this curls down and hooks up, it actually wants to lift that hay. Well, I want something to stop that hay from coming up. I want those claws to dig into that hay and lift it up, not just move the hay up. So it's got to have something on top of it. When I put that down, that's what I'm down against. That the hooks hook in there. You got it captured real well. This just out of, I think, 6 inch. I'd say it's probably 1/4 inch. 6 inch by 2 inch box tubing. It's probably 1/4 inch wide. When I first did it, I took a RV backup camera, recreational vehicle backup camera. They come with like a 7-inch monitor and about two cameras. I had a camera mounted right there so I could see when I'm stacking them in the barn. Like I say, when I'm working over my head, and you'll see out here in a minute, when I'm working up over my head, I can't see where this is pointed, and an inch or two makes a whole lot of difference. So I had a camera here. It's since been moved back to here. There was 2 reasons. When I tilted this way down, I actually could get that camera into this hydraulic cylinder, so that was no good. And the second thing is it just didn't show the width of it good. And I can get plumb up into my rafters, those 16-foot rafters. If this is tilted down and that's up, I can get into my rafters with these, so I gotta watch those corners. And I've got adjustments on there, kind of windage and elevation, if you will, just jam screws. I've got this camera pointed so it's looking right down the middle, because them backup cameras got the red lines on them. But I can aim this center point right towards a spot on the back wall. You may or may not need that. And like I say, we just come up with a gooseneck. I don't know, what are we, about 4 foot tall on the neck. And what that'll let me do, of course, I got to use the tilt to be able to reach the ground. Just straight up down, it won't reach the ground. You tilt it forward, of course, it'll lay flat on the ground. And you know, you can unhook it or pick up bales right at ground level. But when you got it tilted up, I can get up, like I say, I can stack 10 bales high in the barn. I can stack it right up to the rafters. So that's a benefit that I did not have on that flat skid steer. I could only stack 8 high. I got 2 more bales high. So I had wasted space in my barn with that other one. So we overcame that. Like I say, I built this whole thing. I think all told, I had about $750 in it, but that was before we've started building back better and things went up. I don't know what it'd cost now. Probably time and a half that or twice that. But to buy one new, if you can buy one like this, and I don't know if you can, and no, this isn't totally my idea. I seen one that worked that pivoted, and I said, hey, there's the business, and then I just kind of reverse engineered it the best I could. I did buy the hooks. I bought them off a place called Agri Supply. I think it's like $7 a piece, or probably higher than that now. And I see I got 1, 2, 3 of them that's broke off on the tips. And those are all my fault. I'll hook it up and I'll forget to switch my hydraulics over, and I'll go to lift the curl and it'll dig them into rocks and just break that little point right off there. But them's first world problems. There's another one. There's 4. There's about 5 of them that could be replaced, but they're still working just fine, so it's not a big deal. Now this old skid steer, it did not have auxiliary hydraulics on it. So what I did is I split out my curl hydraulics, the one that like curls your bucket and whatnot. I split it with a electric splitter valve. I've got just a little single pole double throw switch in there. I throw it back and forth. When I got it forward, it runs the claws. When I got the switch back, it runs this curl, so it stands this up. I'll show you guys the monitor when I get inside. Guys, it's not that hard to build. If anybody needs measurements or something, you can let me know. I can give you some quick ones. Like I say, it's less than 6 foot wide. It's probably 34. It's probably about 5'6" wide. Them's 22 inches on center here. Pretty well all the way across, 19, 22. You'll just have to figure out. What I did is I laid out 10 bales and I made my measurements of where I wanted them hooks to hit. So if you guys are interested in building one of these, surely you got 10 bales you can stack out on the ground and take your measurements. But that's what I did. Like I say, this is just scrap iron here, runs down and pivots here. It's a pretty simple operation. It's a real simple operation, I guess. I don't know what else to tell you. Let's get to loading some hay. I got a 50 bale customer this morning. He's coming on like probably a 6 foot by 10 foot trailer, so he can hold 50. I've got a 10 bale coming, and I'm saying coming here in a little bit. Guys, I've already loaded him a month ago, and I shot the video, and the second customer showed up before the first one. And I know in the other video I promised to give you an overview of this, so I'm giving you an overview of it right now. But I got a 50 bale customer coming this morning and a 100 bale customer coming this morning, and I'll probably break that down in 2 separate videos. I'll put the loading on it, just another video of the 100 bale, because there's different ways of loading different trailers, guys, and you'll learn that as you get one of these, but I'll try to show you some tricks along the way too, for you guys that's interested in saying, how do you load a 16-foot car trailer from the back? And I load a 16-foot car trailer all the way from the back. I don't get on the trailer. That'll be in the next video related to this. Guys, I just shoot videos as I can, so bear with me, and let's get to loading some hay. Okay, we're gonna load up a little bit of hay this morning. Got a customer here who wants 50 bale. Hopefully the sun's okay for you guys. I tried videoing yesterday. I loaded 100 bale and forgot to turn on the go button so I'll try to remember to tell you guys whatever I forgot to tell you yesterday or remembered to tell you. Homemade grapple here. Got a backup camera mounted up there on the front of the camera, and that's basically so I can look right here when I'm working up over my head like this. I can't tell if I'm lined up just right on the hay or not, and we're liable to miss some hay here because this stack here is starting to come apart a little bit, just due to normal. It's settled some. Now, if you'll see, you probably can't see it, there's a black line that's back there against that back wall, and I'm trying to get that lined up right here. So we'll turn, and then I get that turn just where that, I think I need to go a little bit. Well, I ain't sure if I need to go more or not. It's settled now. With this homemade grapple, I can work up over my head and come down and get a straight pickup on that. We got all 10 bale. They're not real tight, but we got them. I may have to snug him up out here in a little bit. Matter of fact, I know I will. I just lost one. It's not a surprise. I'll get it, Ron. I'll get him. What it is, Ron, my daggum stack's starting to spread out up at the top. I was gonna set this down outside and crowd it up, and I probably still will. The daggum.
Hard to see up there when it's on top.
Well, I got that camera right here on the front. I can actually see, but it's starting to splay a little bit, and this is just barely wide enough. I built that grapple just barely wide enough to catch these 10 bales anyway. So if they start settling, and I just removed that 100 bale that was next to them yesterday, so they're coming out a little bit. Camera's right here. So yeah, I can. It's pretty neat, and I got the monitor in here. We won't run the RPMs too hard on this machine. It's awful loud. Got a lot of hydraulic noise in it. I know it makes it hard for you guys to hear, probably. I just will set this up on there. We'll get her down in between the rails on that. We'll get her down between the rails on that here as we go. Some of these car trailers hitting that first load on there down between them rails is it?
6 foot.
I think it'll fit. I think it'll fit here in just a minute. The first one's a little difficult.
Yeah.
The first layer. About got her started. That one will go.
I have trouble getting them out, but
Nah, just cut the strings, they'll come out. There, now we can get them on there. Okay. Sometimes she's a little troublesome to get that first one down between the rails. They'll hold. We'll put a couple more layers on there and we should be okay. We'll just stack 5 high on there. Now that last one, if you guys can see it, that last one I was hunting the mark on the wall because the stacks were the same height and I couldn't see the stack behind it. But now I'm starting to work on the stack behind it and I can see the middle line on those bales, and this is still spreading out. I may miss a bale and have to get up and get it by hand. We may actually get them down off there. Now what I'll do, a lot of times I'll bring this down, see if I got it, and I don't have it too good. A lot of times I'll set it down, let them settle back down, and then go back down on it again. Now I'll pick it up. Now I'll have them. Now I got them pretty good. Well, I'm still missing that one a little bit, ain't I? This thing works a whole lot better for putting them in the barn. It seems like once they're getting them out of the barn is always the worst, because by then the stacks are starting to separate just a little bit. But it still saves quite a bit of labor. This old Grapple, I built it 4 or 5 years ago, maybe a little bit more. It works way different than the one getting out of the field, because this one's not rigid. You can see this got a gooseneck on it, and that does two things. That lets me stack hay a lot higher. This skid steer won't reach that high. It gives me another, and I'm hunting these tailgate lights in my camera is what I'm doing. I want to be lined up with it or his brake light. I hitched that in there. But you can see that thing seeks its own level, so I can put that above my head. I can be working above my head, and I know that I'm not just hitting on the back of the grapple or the front of the grapple. It'll seek its own level, so that makes it so much nicer other than rigid mounted. So that gooseneck like that really makes it deal, really makes it nice. Like I say, the camera on there, I just love my camera on there. And I'm hunting that crack right there, right down between them last two bales. And the farther I get down in the stack, the better off I'll be as far as, and you guys will be able to see here in a minute. Now the next layer is something you're going to see on there. I'm going to grab a hold of that one more time again. That next layer, you'll see I got a piece of snow fence on there, and that's to keep that stack from falling apart right in the middle. I'll give you guys an overview of this here grapple here in short, but I want to let you know, watch for that next. I put a piece of snow fence. This 5 bale on this right side and the 5 bale on the left side, there are no tie bales that tie them two halves together. Nothing spans the middle of that, just the way it stacks it, right? I need to get over 2 inches. Nothing spans that. And we try to do a real good job loading our customers. We want them to make a home with a good bunch of their hay, enough that they feel like they got their money's worth. Now, I always tell them whatever they lose on the driveway, I consider that my pure profit. So, but anyhow, that snow fence on there, if you was to try to stack this, I could stack 10 high here in my barn. If I was to try to stack 10 high in my barn, without this snow fence on there, I'd never get it done. Now we're gonna pull up there real close because I'm too lazy to get out and I'm old. I put that snow fence there over that. Now while I'm at it, this thing will get plumb up into the rafters whenever I'm stacking 10 high. That's also where I make sure I keep my grapple out of the rafters. Without that overhead, without that camera, she's a booger. You'll be tearing up rafters, and I can see my front end. I'm hitting the stack behind it, so I had to back up 2 inches. I can watch. I really can't see too good if I'm hooked on them all, so I always keep a ladder here. Always got to keep a ladder here to climb up there if I miss one. I think we got this here pretty good. We're a little bit off to one side. I may pick it up straight so I can make sure I get it on the trailer straight. Let's do that. He ain't going that far, but we don't want him losing a bale. You can maybe see it, maybe not, but that bale is shifted. I needed to move over, not that much, but 2 inches. But think about it, guys. If you got your bales 2 inches hanging over this way and then 2 inches hanging over that way, next thing you know, your stack's wanting to tip over on you. 2 inches don't sound like that much, but it'll make a big difference on a stack that rides good. Now this is just a little 5x8, 5x10, or 6x8 or 6x10 car trail. I guess it's 6 foot wide, isn't it? He said. It's not the so 50 bale will be just about right for that rig. And now we'll set him another one more stack on there, and I'll probably turn you guys off while I'm talking to him. Besides realize that anybody that's watched some of my videos knows my video is going to get way too long, because people come in here and we'll load hay for 20 minutes, and then it seems like we talk for about 2 hours. I got another customer coming here in a bit, and I may try to record that one there too. I can't remember. I think he's coming after 100 bale, and I'm about out. I baled right at 2,000 bales, 1,950 something, 1,960 something. There's 180 back there plus 30 up front. So there's 210 bale there. I've got another customer that called me this morning. He's coming, I think, after 100 of them. We better set that down. I'm about to lose the second bale in there. I just didn't get enough down pressure on it to hook him hooks down in that hay good. And like I say, if the bale starts settling some, if the bale under that settled a little bit, then that makes that one there sit just a little bit below the surface. So a lot of times I got to take them out, set them down, and then re-pick them up on a flat hard surface. Let's see here. Tilt that down there. There we go. There's these tail lights on this truck. Wheel unhitcher right there. I'll shut you guys off. I'll bring you back and give you an overview of this skid steer grapple here in just a little bit. Guys, if I earned her, give her the old hitchhiker. If I didn't earn it and I made you mad, give her the old Julius Caesar. Let me know why I made you mad if I made you mad, though. You can put up my shenanigans, my warped sense of humor and things like that. Might consider subscribing. We're always making stuff. A lot of this stuff's been made a long time ago, before I ever started getting on the YouTube business. So I'm just showing you the aftermath of what I have made. But I've got some pretty neat stuff that, still a lot of stuff around here I've made that you might be interested in. Guys, catch you on the next one. Thank you.